Welcome back to the Frozen Forum podcast. My name is Alex Nagy. I'm your host, joined by my co-host, Nathan DaCosta, right straight from France. How's it going, Nathan?
I'm doing so good. Today was an excellent day in France, and it's been an even better week for these Habs. There is so much to talk about this week. 4 games. We played the Stars, we played the Leafs, we played the Lightning, and we played the Rangers. Come on, we got so much to talk about. How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I could be better. These Leaf fans are really freaking annoying this week, I have to say. Like, you'd think they want a cup or something. Like, honestly, I look at this week, it was about time we lost a game. You know, we haven't actually lost a game for 4 games or whatever. And even that one was in overtime, so it didn't really count. It's it was about time for us to lose one.
Yeah, we were due, and it was a tough one to lose. But hey, like we've said before, it's just one loss. And we saw we can bounce back from that. I've also been getting an earful from my brother, Daniel and Riley, both of you. There you go. That's what you get. The AI won't pick up any swearing there. They won't pick up anything there.
No, it's not gonna cut that for you. No, look, that game. You know what? As a young team, that game can be very scary, right? Because we're playing really well, and it really doesn't take much to derail a young team. We've seen it happen in Buffalo countless times, right? They keep icing these young rosters. I mean, I don't know how many times they've started the season where they're like, wow, this is like a legit playoff team. And then they just blow up, right? Because something bad happens and it leads to something else bad. That game for me is a defining moment for Samuel Montembeault, right? This is a turning point for this goalie, right? Because he goes into that game, and I'm going to be straight honest. You can blame whoever you want for that game. The actual onus is on Samuel Montembeault because we had higher expected goals than the Leafs in that game. And what that means is we should win. Now, Joseph Woll was a brick wall after the first period, right? Even in the first period, to be completely honest, we should have been up 5-0. Like we had 5 legit scoring chances, only 3 of which went in. On the other end of the ice, Montembeault didn't, right? That cost us the game eventually, right? This is a turning point. The Habs then start him last night in Tampa Bay. And Buddy becomes a brick wall. I don't know where he went in the Toronto game. Ba-bam! He's right there. He's fine.
Yeah, he had one hell of a show in the third period, especially. I think it was 13 stops, stopping every single shot, and 5 of them were point blank.
And in the slot and right in front of him. And I mean, I was looking at it, there are not a lot of games where the other team has 5 expected goals, right? 5 expected goals is high, right? The Lightning had 5 last night, right? Monty let in 2. Saved 3 goals above expected. Hey, but while we're talking about goalies, we got 2 showings from each this week. Do you want to talk about Jakob Price?
Price,
maybe we should call him Carey Dobbs. I don't know. I don't know which one works better, but 5-0.
Call him what you want, but this is looking like a 2014 pristine Habs team right now. Imagine if we have 2 Carey Prices, because Jakob Dobes is looking like it right now. And if Samuel Montembeault can get to that level too, the sky's the limit.
Look, Jakob Dobbs let in 4 goals, right, against the New York Rangers. With those 4 goals, he still has a 9.45 save percentage. He still has a less than 2 goals against average. 5 games, 5 wins. Ask for better, man.
I know, no words. I think after we glazed our 2 goalies right there, I feel like we should go right into the 3 stars of the week really quickly. I have a 3, and do you have 3 as well?
I think I have 3 conceptually, but I haven't actually put it together yet.
Okay. I'll start it off then. Number 1, it has to be Jakob Dobbs. Hands down, it's Jakob Dobbs. Excellent start to the NHL. Number 2, I am going to give it to Juraj Slafkovsky. He has stepped it up this week. He has 3 goals in these last 4 games, and he has a few assists as well. He's been performing like we want to see him perform. He's finally stepping it up. And the last star, I'm going to give it to Samuel Montembeault. He now has some pretty solid competition for that starting goaltender spot in Jakob Dobbs. And we saw what happened against the Leafs. And then he does what he did last night against Tampa Bay.
wins the game against Tampa. I'll give you that. I will say, from a 3 stars of the week perspective, I don't know if Monty deserves it because of that Leafs game. I do agree with your first 2 though, and so third in my head, right? Hear me out. I had Patrik Laine. Now I know like it's the easy one to go to. This guy had 2 assists in the game last night, which Patrik Laine is a goal scoring machine, and gets 2 assists just casually.
Also, I gotta say this now. I have been told by some of our Finnish friends on exchange that we have been saying Patrik Laine wrong this whole time. It's Patrik Laine.
I'm saying the same thing you are.
No. Patrik Laine.
Patrik Laine.
Close. We'll
sure.
leave it at that.
You can get that clip. You can get that clip and show it to them, and come back to me next week, and we'll see if we can make it better. That's actually crazy. Patrik. Dude, what are you doing? Rolling the R?
Patrik Laine.
Patrik Laine.
You emphasize the A.
I feel like you just gotta be Finnish. You just gotta be Finnish.
Yeah, you emphasize the A a little bit, and then the E sounds like an A too. So Patrik Laine. That was super emphasized, but no, Patrik Laine. Yeah, Patrik Laine. I could see him on the top 3.
Yeah, look. I mean, he scores a goal in that Leafs game, and I think he scored. Did he score against the Rangers too? I feel like, yeah. I don't know. He was all around everything. I thought he's been playing really good defensively as well, which is something to be said. Is like he's not your typical defensive. A lot of people had problems with his defensive play in Winnipeg and Columbus, but I thought he was really solid there too. So that's why I wanted to put him up there. A nice little shadow for him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's pretty solid. I just wanted to give Montembeault that 3rd star because he needed to bounce back, and he certainly bounced back. Like, it's what we need from our goalies. And honestly, with the team that we have coming up next season, we need our goalies to be solid. We don't want to have a flaky goalie situation like the Leafs. Because let's be honest, if the Leafs had a solid pair of goalies the past 4 years, they would have been deep cup contenders every year. But they haven't.
Well, I mean, they've been deep cup contenders every year, but
their goaltending situation is just, man.
Look, I honestly think that you could stack bricks in that net, and they would still find a way to lose in the playoffs, bro. Like
the whole team falls apart. The whole team falls apart, but the goalies need to be solid.
There's been a lot of debate online. You talked how Juraj Slafkovsky is one of our stars this week. There's been a lot of debate online between whether he should have gone 1st overall or if Logan Cooley should have gone 1st overall, right? And, I mean, first of all, get this right out of the way. They're 2 completely different players, right? The question I ask you, who do you want in the playoffs? Do you want Juraj Slafkovsky or do you want Logan Cooley?
As of this season, I want Logan Cooley. But give it another 2 seasons, I would take Slav.
But do you? Here are the intangibles in the NHL, right? The intangibles is that in the playoffs, what we've seen in the past 3 games is things get very physical sometimes. That Leafs game took it up another notch. That was more hitting. There was more hitting in that game I think I've seen all season, right? The game last night against Tampa, in the 3rd period, we got very, very physical. Logan Cooley is a skills-first player, which means he's going to make good plays, he's going to get those passes, he's going to score goals, right? That's great. You can have players like that, right? We had those players in, say, Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki is not traditionally, I mean, he's been hitting people like whatever, but he's not that kind of guy. We had a guy like that in Nick Suzuki. You can't just have that, right? When we had Nick Suzuki on the team, we also had a 4th line when we went to the Stanley Cup final with Joel Armia. It was Corey Perry, and didn't we pick up Stahl? Why do I feel like we had a Stahl brother?
I think we did have a Stahl. Also,
yeah, right.
Joel Armia, he's also Finnish. It's Joel Armia. I said that wrong.
Joel Armia.
Armia. Yeah.
Joel Armia. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
yeah. Keep going.
Both of which, by the way, on the Finnish Four Nations team.
Yes. Yeah.
Very exciting. And I was saying about Logan Cooley. The thing about Logan, he's a very similar player, I think, to somebody like Mitch Marner, right? Is like your smaller guy, has a lot of skill, is going to get a lot of points in the regular season. And look, Mitch Marner has the most points for the Leafs in the playoffs among that group, right? So I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. But the problem is that when the games get heavier, when the games start getting more physical, those are the kind of players that don't make that same impact, right? From a physical standpoint. I look at Uri Slafkovsky. I think the biggest problem for him at the beginning of the season, the reason that he didn't have this big stretch of goals or assists or whatever, is he was trying to be physical, but he didn't understand really how, right? What he's figured out in these last 4 games, he has started hitting people, finishing his checks. He started grinding people into the boards. And what that does is people become a little bit quicker with the puck around him, right? When you hit a guy into the boards and he's thinking that, oh, next time you come in, this guy's going to hit me. He tries to make that play a little bit faster. And maybe it's too fast. Maybe he makes the wrong play. That's where you get a turnover. That's where you get assists. That's where you open up chances for goals, right? That's what happens when you're a physical player. That's why he's, I think, done so well this past week. I look to him, if he really has figured out this whole physical side of things, I think this second half of the season is going to be fantastic for him.
And sky's the limit for him, really. Side question, you might have to cut this out. Is my mic too loud now? Because I'm looking at my mic.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, for Slav, sky's the limit. And I mean, past week, is it 5 points that he has in the last 4 games? Like, that's...
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. He's far better than he started the season with. And we want to see that kind of production keeping up, because we are now 2 points out of a playoff spot. So tight, bro.
No. We're in a playoff spot, no?
I checked this morning and it said we were not.
Who beat us? And we're in. We're fully in a wildcard spot.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I was looking at the wrong day. Okay, never mind. We are in a wildcard spot.
I will say the NHL website, I don't know who decided to do this. This was the stupidest UI thing I've ever seen in my life. They added a little bar on the NHL website that tells you what day the standings are as of. So you can say the standings as of last week, as of 2 weeks ago, as of 3 weeks ago, which sounds great. Except that when you put in standings into your bar and it just takes you to the last page you were on, it keeps the same date. And so you're looking at the wrong... Change that, NHL.
That's probably what happened to me, and that's happened multiple times.
Yeah, look, we're in a playoff spot, Nathan. More than that, listen to this. We're in the second wild card spot, okay? The only reason that we're not in the first wild card spot is because the Ottawa Senators have 1 extra regulation win than us. We've won too many times in overtime. Which, by the way, I would like to say, that New York Rangers game should never have gone to overtime, and we should be the winners in regulation, right? This is something you got to start thinking about now that we're in these big ties and stuff for these positions. Regulation wins matter.
Yeah,
that's why that Tampa game last night, freaking massive, bro.
Give them 0. You can't give these other teams 1 point anymore. We just got to get it done in regulation.
Yeah, look, but because of that game in Tampa, we're sitting tied for the first wild card spot, just losing on that first tiebreaker. 1 point back of Tampa for the 3rd position in the Atlantic. And I mean, Florida won last night, so now we're 7 points back of them, 10 points back of the Leafs. But it is not unrealistic to think that we could be in the third place in the Atlantic by the end of the season.
Yeah, not even a wild card position. That would be nuts.
Well, I mean, look at this tie. Like, look, the East is so tight. I don't think I've ever seen the standings like this close. Like, you've got Ottawa 52 points, Montreal 52 points, Boston 52 points, Columbus 51 points, the Rangers 50 points, Philly 50 points. That is 6 whole teams competing for the last 2 positions, right?
Well, you got to include. Did you include Tampa in there, because they're like?
Well, Tampa's in the third Atlantic spot, right? But
not by much.
Not by much, but if they come down, then one of those teams goes up, right? So you have 6 teams, though, that are within 2 points, within 1 win of a wild card spot. This week is going to be huge, right? Like as we start getting closer to the trade deadline, if teams don't widen that gap, it's going to be really, really, really hard for general managers to say, yes, we're going to go add to this team, right? Now, I think from Montreal's standpoint, I think we've done enough, honestly, at this point, to warrant a little bit of buying. Now, don't sell the farm in order to win this year, but you can add a few pieces that make us a little bit better.
Mikko Renton? That clip did well.
That's called selling the farm. I will say, yeah, that clip did well. 37,000 views on TikTok.
It was all platforms that did well. It did well on Instagram, it did well on TikTok, it did well on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I love the one on TikTok though is crazy because we have like 1,000 likes on it, and then we also have 100 something comments. There are people I was reading some of these comments, and there are a lot of like conversations within conversations within the replies thread, which is pretty cool. A lot of debate going on. You know, Montreal fans going, "Yeah, this is great." Some other person going, "No, you guys are stupid." And it keeps going back and forth. But yeah, I one of the big considerations I think for this next few weeks is the trade deadline, right? Because usually you have these 4 or 5 teams, maybe 6 teams that are like actually locks, right? And for the wild card, you have maybe 3 teams, and so what they're saying is, if we add a little bit more than that other team, we'll make it in. Right, that's what Vegas did a few years ago, and they ended up not making it in. But but that's a lesson, right? Because didn't work out. So I think it's gonna be big.
It'd be huge, bro. Like 16. Yeah, I actually don't know if I've ever seen that before. I'm trying to think of when it's actually been that tight. And
I
for
mean,
us to be in the top of that position is pretty solid.
realistically looking at it, like the Pittsburgh Penguins, I don't know if you heard this, but Kyle Dubas is apparently looking to have a complete yard sale with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is very open to trading on nearly everybody. This goes back. You remember that question I asked you? Sidney Crosby to the Colorado Avalanche? Question mark. It could happen. I don't know.
It could. I just think it's going to be one of those Mario situations, and he's going to stay. He's going to stay in Pittsburgh.
Like, I just look at it, and if I'm Kyle Dubas, he is easily your best trade piece, right? If I'm Sidney Crosby, as much as I love the Penguins, because I've played for them and I have whatever, right? I've won 3 cups with them. To have another chance at a cup would be huge.
With your boy from Cole Harbor.
It'd be insane. The storylines go so hard. I cannot express. But yeah, looking at the West too, like the West is not as close. But this is the difference, East versus West. Calgary, Vancouver, and St. Louis are all within 1 point of the last wildcard spot. Calgary taking it right now. But that Vancouver stuff keeps going. And actually, I have questions for you about the Vancouver Canucks. But that's in the second half of our Frozen Forum Flash, which we can start right now if you're good with that.
Yeah, let's get into it. I think this is the latest we've started the Flash. 20 minutes in.
We had other things to talk about, Nathan DaCosta.
Yeah.
What can we say? It's episode 23. It is the Frozen Forum Flash. We have 10 questions for Nathan, 30 seconds each. We're going to go 5 questions about the Habs, 5 questions about the rest of the league, and see if we can't get some fun takes and some fun questions for you. Cool?
Yep, sounds good. Let's get into it.
Sounds good. All right, the Frozen Forum Flash starts now. Question number 1. How does it feel to know that we have Jakob Price on our team?
Man, I'm getting flashbacks of 2014 right now. We have, my God, just at this point, just call him Carey Dobes. Like, give him either name. Man, I'm just so excited right now. Like, this is such a young team. We don't even have Ivan Demidov. We got to talk about Ivan Demidov later in the pod. But, man, just imagine this team next year, just next season, we're going to have Demidov, Hage, Carey Price in net, and also, yeah, like, we're just set. We're so set. I'm excited. I can't get any words out.
Same. I think every Habs fan feels exactly like that. We'll go to question number 2, though. The Habs blew a 3-goal lead to the Toronto Maple Leafs and gave up 7 straight to lose 7-3. Is this anywhere near as embarrassing as giving up a 3-1 series lead in the playoffs?
Yeah, it seems to be when you mention it to any Leafs fan that what happened in those playoffs, they just go silent or start swearing at you like, oh, wait, I just threw a little lob at you, and you're coming at me. Oh, 7-3, you let in 7 straight. What about 2021? That's all I gotta say. It's not nearly as bad.
Not nearly as bad, exactly. We'll go into question number 3. This was a fun one. This is a serious question for you too. Some New York Rangers fans made comments about Habs fans booing Chris Kreider every time he touched the puck. Obviously, going back to 2014 or 2015 or whatever season it was that he took out Carey Price. If Chris Kreider had a son and he played in the NHL, should the fans boo him too?
Depends if his son can actually captain a team. I think that's what it'll come down to. No, in all seriousness.
Because I wouldn't put it past Habs fans, just as a side note, I would not put it past the Bell Center to boo Chris Kreider's son because he's Chris Kreider's son. You know what I mean? Like, this is like generational trauma that he created.
Yeah. It is generational trauma. They're just bringing it right back to him. Yeah, I agree with you.
Cool. We'll go into question number 4. Lane Hudson completed his 4th pass to the slot in the Dallas game, making him the first defenseman in the NHL to reach that mark this season. If Lane Hudson hits 80 points this season, so I want you to assume that, if he hits 80 this season, what is the maximum he's going to score for one season in his whole career when we get players who can actually finish all of those slot passes that he's passing?
That's an odd stat to have, but that's good for him. But the max he's going to get in his career, I wonder what Cale Makar's is, because he honestly just reminds me of a young Cale Makar. Like, I could see him as a 105, 110 point season player. That is definitely realistic, and I would not be that surprised if it happens next season.
It's actually a really cool stat. I don't love the hate that I just got for that one, but it's anyways, we'll go.
My bad. It's just a stat I've never heard that stat before.
Look, I mean, conceptually, just to break off for a second, conceptually, the highest expected goals come from the slot because it's the easiest to score from the slot. And so the more you pass and complete passes to the slot, the more goals, the more assists you should have, right?
Okay.
That's conceptually where the thinking is. We'll go into question number 5, the last one. On the Habs side of things, is it or is it not a penalty for a goalie to steal an opponent's stick and use it during play?
Yeah. Who was it? Shesterkin that stole his stick, or was it?
It was quick.
Oh, okay, it was quick. What is that? Like, because it's a rule for players. If you take any player's stick from the opposition, it's a penalty. And is a goalie not classified as a player in this situation? I don't know. Should have been a penalty. Leave it in the past, though. It doesn't matter. We got the 2 points. Piss off, Rangers. Also, Matt Rempe, you got schooled, buddy. You got absolutely schooled by Wi-Fi, the policeman, the sheriff, whatever you want to call him. He's got us, baby.
That fight was insane. Look, I've seen some big Rempe fights. Bro, Arbor Jack guy, he must have been practicing his lefts over the summer because this guy's left hook is ridiculous.
We'll talk more about it after the.
We'll go into question number 6. This is the big one. This is the controversial one. Connor McDavid was suspended this week for a cross-check to the head of Connor Garland in the dying seconds of the Vancouver-Edmonton game. 1, do you agree with the suspension? And 2, do you think the NHL should be more lenient with its stars in general?
I think you should give me a minute for this one and we can talk about it more. The first part of the question, was the suspension deserved? I'm going to say yes, but not for the length that it was. I think he should have got a game. Like, it was a cross-check to the head. That's a textbook suspension. Same for Tyler Myers. They both deserve the suspension, but 3 games too long. Now, should the NHL be more lenient on their superstars like other leagues are? I think no. I think you should treat every player like a player in the league. I know you want to build a superstar, but you also want to have fairness in the league, and that'll keep the players happy. Like, they're, at the end of the day, the NHL is a company, and the players are part of the... I'm doing too many business classes, man. They're the stakeholders in the company, bro, and everyone wants to be treated fairly. So you're not going to be, you can't be super biased to Connor McDavid there. But yeah, I do think it was too long of a suspension. Even Rick Tocchet thought it was too long of a suspension. Draisaitl thought it was too long of a suspension for both sides. Yeah, obviously for McDavid, but for both sides, yeah, it was too long. Like 1 game max, in my opinion.
I like it. We'll go to question number 7. We talked about them a few weeks ago. We got to talk about them again. The New York Rangers beat the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Ottawa Senators, the Utah Hockey Club, and got a point in their game against us, all in the last week. They now sit 2 points behind us for the tie for the first wildcard spot. Will the Rangers make the playoffs?
Will they make it? No, they don't deserve it. After the season they've been having, they just do not deserve it. You trade your captain, your whatever they signed Shesterkin to, your goalie is not performing the way you've been expecting him to. Well, I mean, he's stepped it up a little bit these past few games, but I mean, he had a bit of a meltdown since he signed the contract. From the start of it, your enforcer keeps getting ridiculous suspensions. It's just not the year for the Rangers. I think the Habs should make it over the Rangers. Totally not biased at all. It's not like this is a Habs podcast, but
But could the Rangers make it over the Senators? I guess is really like the
over the Senators.
I believe more in the Rangers, right? Personally,
No, I think the Senators look pretty solid, and I think Brady Tkachuk is fitting that role, that captain role, pretty well right now.
That Rangers Senators game last night, 5-0 Rangers.
It was okay. I was only keeping up with the Habs, but I don't know. You got me speechless there. But I still think the Senators are a better team in general.
Fair enough. We've had a lot of shifts this season, Nathan, going into question number 8, in who is the best team in the NHL, right? For a while, it was the Winnipeg Jets, who could not lose at the beginning of the season. Then Vegas kind of came in there. Washington has entered the picture a little bit. So let's talk about the Washington Capitals. They now sit first in the entire league by 4 points. More than that, since losing to us, they have not lost. They've gone 5-0 in that stretch. Are the Washington Capitals a legit Stanley Cup competitor?
They've been a Stanley Cup competitor since like mid-December, even without Ovechkin, because that was their time to prove them to the world that like, hey, we don't need our Russian sniper just to win games, and they kept winning games, and now he's back, and he's scoring too. He's scoring a lot. Some are empty net, so yeah. But he's also getting crucial goals. Like he got an overtime goal to win a game. The Washington Capitals are legit, man. Like they could have a 2018 run again.
I like it. Would you say they're your favorites to come out of the East?
Yeah, 100%.
I actually don't know what other team looks as good right now. We'll go into question number 9. This keeps being a question on the podcast. We still do not have a trade for JT Miller out of Vancouver. Vancouver is still not in a playoff position. At this point, would you be surprised if you got picked up by the Dodgers?
I would be surprised, actually, because the Dodgers don't have any more money after they paid Shohei Ohtani $800 million. Mind you, it was worth it. And I don't know when Freddie Freeman's contract's done, but he's going to get a fat paycheck after what just happened in the World Series. But JT Miller, he might just have to start to learn some Chinese because he's going to play in the CHL, the Chinese Hockey League. Chinese, Russian, who knows? He's going to be sent somewhere else if he can't get sent to another NHL team. Or the SHL, the Shanghai Hockey League.
I like it. I like the take. I don't know where you're going to go with that one. I like where you went with it. Well, go question number 10. The final question in our Frozen Forum Flash. In the game against Washington last night, Corey Perry of the Edmonton Oilers scored a goal while there was a full tray of nachos lying on the ice after a fan threw it over the glass. Should the play have stopped, as Logan Thompson wanted it to, I believe the Washington Capitals, or is it a good goal?
I didn't actually see this. Where was the tray on the ice?
In the Washington Capitals defensive zone. It was like right above the dot.
Yeah, I think the play should have been stopped, especially if, that's interference with the play right there. That's just textbook.
For anybody who wants to watch it, like if you watch that clip, as Corey Perry is coming down like the side of the ice, you can see him skate like basically over the nacho tray. Like that is what it looks like. It's crazy. But they didn't stop the play because it didn't actually look like it was interfering with any of the play, which is like the whatever. But from Logan Thompson's side, he was like, "Yo, I saw the guy who threw it." And like I saw that it distracted me, and then I came back to the game. Like, this sounds like a him problem from my perspective. Like, got to be locked in, you know? Like, what are you doing?
No, I can understand his perspective. You're looking for projectiles, and that's a projectile. It just happens to be some nachos and some plastic cheese.
Fair enough. That ends our Frozen Forum Flash. There were other questions that you wanted to talk about.
First of all,
more in depth.
That Rempe and Jack Eye fight. What the? So it was like, this was better than the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, man. Like,
that's not a hard bar. That's a low bar.
A low bar. But they both made a bag. I don't know if you saw this on social media too. They were just hanging out casually, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. So they finessed the entire world for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. Can you blame them? Like at this point, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them launched a meme coin. But like, you know, that's
right there too. But yeah, the fight though, my goodness. Jack Eye is a menace, bro. This guy's throwing hooks left, right, and center, dog. And he looked like he was losing the fight because Rempe started it early. He just started ripping him apart. Jack still had his gloves and stick in his hand, and then
I will say, if like I think this model for fighting for Jack is a great model. Like don't engage right away. Get the other guy to drop the gloves first so that he gets the instigator penalty. And then when he drops the gloves, boom, knock him out. Take him out. You know, like that's what he did. I couldn't believe it. I'm watching this fight and I'm going, wow, Jack is losing, right? It's Matt Rempe. Matt Rempe is like 3 inches taller than him or whatever it is, right? And then all of a sudden, left. I thought he knocked out Rempe. I won't lie. I still am not sure. Like I swear there is brain damage that was caused by Arbor Jack in that fight.
no, I agree. I completely forgot what I was just gonna say. Keep going.
Like, that's all I got on the fight.
Actually, completely. Oh yes, the Leafs game when Reeves was challenging Jack and then he pointed to the scoreboard. As soon as I saw that happen, I knew like this mother. Why would you do that? Why would you give him a reason to just get him amped up?
Well, I mean, fighting him does the same thing, right? Look. In the moment, pointing to the scoreboard is totally fine. Okay? At the end of the day, that game is unfortunate, but it's going to happen. Right? Like, there's nothing you can do about it. The question is what you do to bounce back. Montreal bounced back with 2 straight wins.
Bing bada boom, just like that.
Bing. I will say, I thought that game, as soon as the turning point of that game was when Jack stood up, I think it was Reeves on the blue line.
Yeah.
That was a turning point because after that, everybody got more physical. And I think when you're leading, just in general in the NHL, you don't want to ever give your opponent a spark, right? You don't want to provide them a chance of hope. You want to make it feel like, I mean, we do a great job of this with the Tampa Bay Lightning, by the way. I don't know how we do it. I think it must be some kind of like after effect of playing them in the finals. When we play the Lightning, Nikita Kucherov gets extraordinarily upset. Like you can see, he's a very visual player, right? You can tell what he's feeling on the ice. This guy looks like he's the most miserable person on earth when he's playing us, right? Because we don't let him pass, we don't let him shoot, we break up everything he's doing, right? We'd never give him any kind of opportunities on the power play. Like the Tampa Bay Lightning did not score on the power play last night, I don't think. And the reason for that is because we had an outstanding penalty kill that barely let them in the zone to begin with, right? When you play like that in general, it is very hard for the other team to win the game. Even if they're winning. I mean, we saw it in Tampa. Like as much as Tampa was up 2-0, Nikita Kucherov was still upset, right? Because everything's not working. And when that starts to happen, it gives your team a spark. You can go. In the Leafs game, that hit gave the Leafs a spark. They realized they had to be more physical. They realized that they needed to go out and just get us. And when they started doing that, they started opening up more seams. They started getting more passes. They started turning over more pucks. And then they score a bunch of goals.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like Kucherov, when he played the Habs, I've noticed it too. He does look mad, but also when he plays other teams too, he kind of looks like the kind of like Nikola Jokic of the NHL. Like Nikola Jokic comes in and just doesn't give a crap. Sometimes he looks like he doesn't want to be there. Same with Kucherov when he plays certain teams, and I've noticed it more this season with him. Pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. I don't know. Again, when he's on, he looks like he's having a lot of fun, right? When he's scoring goals, when he's making passes, looks great. But if you can get into a player like that's head, you win games, right? But again, I go back to that Leafs game. As much as that Jack hit was great, don't give him a spark. That's all I'm saying.
At the same time, he can't be letting in 7 goals on.
Wait, I think it was 7. I don't think we had.
I think the one was an empty net.
Did they have an empty net? We pulled a goalie?
I think it was empty net.
Oh, God. All I know, I started drinking beers in the second period.
Were you watching with any Leafs fans or no?
No.
Oh, good. Good thing you didn't have like Oliver or Jack over or something like that.
Nah. Actually, I asked Oliver and Jack. I got a lot of flack in the group chat for that loss, right? And here's your typical Leaf fan. We're gonna throw them under the bus here. Typical Leaf fan, chirping me online. I said, "Hey, come on the podcast. We'll do a podcast on Sunday and talk about it. You can lambaste the Habs, right?" Like, sorry, we can't make it.
Can't handle the heat of 2021 because you knew it was coming.
Look, the regular season champions, man. Like, come on, like.
Hey, gotta give it to them. Gotta give it to them. They want that President's Trophy so bad.
Yeah, but they're not going to get it. I still can't believe, like, look, the Leafs are the most fraudulent like competitors for the Stanley Cup. In all of these years, they've never led the league.
And
Like, I don't
somehow
even think
they make it every
they're
year.
close. They're like they're 7 points back of first place in the league.
But they make the playoffs convincingly every year. You got to hand it to them for that. But then it doesn't matter in playoff time.
At the end of the day, the way that you give your team the best chance to win is to play the easiest teams, right? That's not always the case, right? But the reason that the playoffs work how they do is to give you the best chance if you are the best team, right? They put you against a wild card team. I want to talk to you about this. I'm going to make you the I don't know, the Oracle, not the Oracle. I want to make you the controller, the Wizard of Oz for the NHL. Looking at the standings, looking at where everybody's sort of around, script the playoff picture for me. So if you could script it, what is the best storyline to have in the playoffs this year? What do you think?
The Habs?
But for the whole, like let's just go Eastern Conference for now. But like for the Eastern Conference, you've got all of these teams who are sort of pushing in. Give me like the best storyline you can find. So like, for example, mine would be like Toronto coming in that second wild or like second place in the conference kind of thing. So they play the first wild card team, and then the first wild card team being the Montreal Canadiens, and then we have a repeat of that 3-1, right? Like that's what I mean. So like script the playoffs.
I'm going to give it to... can we play the Panthers in the first round? Could we, like, theoretically? Yeah, first round, we play the Panthers. We play the defending Stanley Cup champions. We kick their ass. We kick them down, like, 4-2. They sneak out 2 lucky wins, but we annihilate them in those other 4 games. We beat them. The Leafs play the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Do you want Tampa or do you want Ottawa here? Battle of Ontario.
Now let's give them Tampa. We have them Tampa here. I think Tampa's a better team than Ottawa. Ottawa's a better team than New York. So Toronto, Tampa. I think Toronto will make it out once again to the second round and play the Montreal Canadiens in the second round. And we all know what's going to happen here. We're going to go down 3-0 in the series. Oh, the Habs suck. The Habs suck. The Habs suck. Jakob Dobeš turns into a prime Carey Prime. Yeah, turns into a prime Carey Price.
Yeah, that's I guess we start the series. That'd be a crazy storyline, eh? We start the series with Samuel Montembeault as the starter, and after 3 games we put in Jakob Dobeš and he goes 4-0 to win the series. That'd be freaking crazy. I like it.
That's what's going to happen on that side. The rest of the league, man, I don't care about the rest of the league. All I care about is our conference, because that's where it matters most for us right now. Washington's going to make it to the conference finals at least. Probably Vegas too, and then we might see... who could we see in the finals? Is Carolina?
No, I mean in the finals you need to see a Western Conference team, Nathan.
Bro, who the fuck is in the Western Conference?
Winnipeg, Minnesota, Dallas, Vegas, Edmonton, LA, Colorado, Calgary, Vancouver. It's kind of the
Winnipeg. Give me Winnipeg. Winnipeg's gonna have
all Canadian.
Yes.
Okay, because I want to go a little bit different here, right? I see it like this, right? Give me Toronto, Montreal, first round. Give me Florida and Tampa Bay, first round. So you have the Battle of Florida, and you have the original 6 matchup, Toronto, Montreal. Put in there for me the New York Rangers in that other wild card spot, playing the Washington Capitals. Just wait. Okay? Because I don't believe in Ottawa. Look, I'm looking at Ottawa's last 10. They're 5-3-2, man. Like it's not good enough.
What is New York? What's New York in the last 10?
6-1-3. All right. I don't believe in Ottawa. Like I actually don't. There's nobody on that team that makes me think this team can actually do good things. So give me Washington and the New York Rangers. Okay. And then the other one, I guess, is sort of set. Carolina and New Jersey don't look like they're going anywhere in those wildcard spots. Doesn't matter. So Tampa beats Florida. Montreal beats Toronto, whatever way you want to see that happening, right? Ends their playoff hopes. Mitch Marner gets traded in the offseason. Right? That's it. Blow up the team. Tampa Bay versus the Montreal Canadiens. A rematch of the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. The only difference is that Tampa Bay has an under-the-cap team and not a $13 million over-the-cap team. So, Tampa Bay, Montreal, give me Washington to beat the Rangers. Give me Carolina to beat the Devils. I don't know if I necessarily believe in the Devils, although that'd be a fantastic series as a side note, like Markstrom and whatever, right? Obviously, in my version of reality, the Habs beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, make up for 2021. All of the monkeys are off the back in terms of, not winning that series. Washington beats the Carolina Hurricanes. And in that series, is Alex Ovechkin's total goals across all games, or is it total regular season goals?
Regular season.
Regular season goals. Okay. Alex Ovechkin goes off, but it doesn't matter, right? He'll already have broken the record by then, I think. Okay. So now Washington, this up and coming whatever team versus the Montreal Canadiens, right? One of the top teams in the league, bottom things. We sweep 4-0, done, gone. Completely show why that team is fraudulent. Why? Because their goalies are not real. Their goalies are saving so many goals above expected. It's ridiculous. That has to stop. It's going to stop in that series. Montreal to the finals. Give me, I don't even know who's the best storyline here. Give me the Colorado Avalanche with Sidney Crosby on the team.
I was going to say Vegas, but okay.
And think of how hard this series goes, okay? Colorado Avalanche. A Stanley Cup winner, Nathan MacKinnon, Sidney Crosby, absolutely stacked versus the Montreal Canadiens. Get Patrick Waugh, in the building every game.
But
Can't script them better.
I would be scared of Sidney Crosby because we all know he's a Habs killer, and it's also Sidney Crosby. But he's
you know what? We might lose that series. I'm not gonna say here today that I actually think we're gonna win the Stanley Cup this year. I think we could. And look, the little train that could, or whatever it's called, sometimes it does. But that series would be ridiculous.
I agree, bro. Absolutely nuts.
Could you imagine if we won that series? Like, just hold on for a second with that thought, right? We win against the Colorado Avalanche. We bring the Stanley Cup back to Canada, being the only team in Canada to do so in the last 32 years, right? And that offseason, we pick up Mikko Rantanen and just complete. So not only do we annihilate them in the finals, right? We also get one of their star players onto our team to make us better next year.
If we somehow got Mikko Rantanen in this offseason, he would have probably the best team in the NHL. Montreal Canadiens would have the best team in the NHL. If, to those of you that don't know who our prospects are, they're
insane. They're insane.
Just go look up Ivan Demidov highlights. Go look up Michael Hage highlights. You'll see a whole bunch of videos there. They're going to be coming next year. If we add Mikko Rantanen to that mix, we are the best team in the NHL next season.
I can't disagree here. I'm not going to sit here and say anything different. I think without Mikko Rantanen, to be completely honest, I think we're already pretty far up there. Maybe have to do one or two changes in the offseason. But I don't know. This thing is so exciting. The thing is, it's so exciting, Nathan. We were the underdogs going into 2021, right? And the thing I love about the way we've built this team is we have surrounded the entire team with people who show up in big moments. I don't know anyone that showed up bigger in that 2021 playoffs than Cole Caulfield. Kid comes out of the NCAA.
Carey Price.
No, but I mean, Carey Price was the definition of that, right? But Cole Caulfield shows up, plays 2 games in the regular season, right? Starts, I don't even know if he started the playoffs against the Leafs. I don't remember if he was on the opening night roster. I think he got brought on. Maybe he was. I don't remember exactly. Anyways, was that his first season, actually? Was that the season that he came in? Yeah. Anyways, gets put on a line with Nick Suzuki and Tyler Toffoli. And, I mean, wins us game 5. Right? That was the 2-on-0 with Nick Suzuki. Courtesy, by the way, of former Habs legend Alex Galchenyuk. Also,
former Coyotes legend, former Arizona Penitentiary legend, Alex Galchenyuk.
There you go. I wanted to go there. I didn't know how to go there. Perfect. Well done. But he scores goals against Vegas. He killed Vegas. I think Cole Caulfield single-handedly dismantled the Vegas Golden Knights. Like I think he scored like 2 or 3 game winners. What I'm trying to say, though, this whole team is built for that, right? One of the big things Kent Hughes has talked about building this team is finding players who can play under the pressure. Look at look at Jakob Dobes. Do you see the way he conducts himself in that? It's crazy. It's actually ludicrous. I don't know how this kid, who is 1 year older than I am, or 1 year, or same age as me, actually, maybe. I might be wrong in that. He might be younger than me. Anyways, I don't know how this kid goes into an NHL arena and just says, yeah, I belong here.
Bro,
But he does. But he
locked
does.
in. It's that goaltender mentality, bro. It's just he's just locked in. But more than just him, Samuel Montembeault is the same way. I've heard interviews from Marty St. Louis, and he also says that Montembeault was just so calm in net. Even though that game didn't go the way he wanted it to against the Leafs, he was so calm in the game against Tampa.
Look, if that game's not a back-to-back, I think as soon as the fourth goal goes in, we put in Dobes. But it's a back-to-back, and I think Marty didn't want to play Dobes too much. Right? And I mean, Carey Price got pulled, right? Like, that's not, that happens to the best of them. Yeah, it's exciting times, Nathan.
I'm so hyped up for this team, man. This is looking good. This is looking very, very good. But I do have to get going because I have a dinner with a French family tonight. Me and Nick are going to just a random French family. The school organizes it for us. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, and that's what's
Cool.
going on here. Yeah.
Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you.
Why don't you thank everybody for watching?
Everyone that has made it to this point and heard about my French dinner, we love you so
Shout
much.
out, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hope you're doing good. Sorry, keep going.
Shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to my brother, Daniel. We love you all. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it so much. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure that you follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure that you give us a follow on Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcast. Make sure you give us that rating. That really helps us blow up there. We have been doing pretty well on TikTok. You guys have been helping out tremendously there. Same for Instagram. Our Instagram has been doing phenomenally too. We really appreciate when you guys hit that like button. It actually does so much for us. It's an exciting time in Habsland, baby. We've got 2 months of just straight adrenaline. 3 months of straight adrenaline for this team. Exciting times, baby. Alex, have a good night, and we will see you next time. Au revoir et bonsoir.